Good morning. Let's just give a couple of minutes for everyone to get seated, and because I know there's some transitions happening. So my name is Abaya Dake. I'm the Principal Success Manager at Slack. Slack is a Salesforce company. And if you don't know that by now, by the end of this presentation, you see both brands quite a bit. Um, First of all, someone might ask, what is a principal success manager? I've had this question come up a couple times, even just this week. So anytime that a company acquires a product like Slack, after the sale cycle has happened, usually I come in, my team comes in to ensure that people, the company, are getting business value out of the products that they are choosing to purchase. So my job is to drive adoption, drive business value, and ensure that the platform is working in the manner that works for the organization who's purchasing the platform. So that's what a principal success manager does. So I need a click. Oh, it's right here. Great. So this is just legalese. All this says is Salesforce is a publicly traded company. Any sales, investment decisions that you might make today should be based on information that is available in the market. I would show some upcoming product features, but any decision that you make should be based on information that's readily available to everyone, and that is currently active on the platform. So just so you know, that's what all that means. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you. So, you could have been anywhere. I know everyone here is busy, everyone here has lives, but you took time out to come to be with us, and I just wanted to say we appreciate it, and we thank you so much for being here today. So, the agenda for today, I'll hit three key topics. First of all, what is Slack? He did ask about Slack, and I saw that there's a decent amount of people that know about Slack, so I'm happy about that. But we'll get into a little bit detail as to what exactly Slack is, what does Slack do, because there's a lot of times some misconceptions of the Slack platform. Next is we will talk about Slack AI. Everyone is excited about AI, and I just wanted to introduce what Slack has coming pertaining to AI so you can see how it will impact you in your day-to-day. Lastly, I'd like to share how some organizations across the globe are using Slack to innovate in their businesses. So, and hopefully if we have a little bit of time, I'll be happy to take some questions as well. So, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm fortunate to have good weather a decent amount of time in the year. So usually after work, around 5:30, 6 p.m., I love to go on walks. Every time that I go on a walk, I have my Slack t-shirt or a Slack hat, and I always get people saying, oh, I know Slack. A few times, I will get someone who would ask, I've heard about Slack, but what is Slack? And usually I pause because I'm like, should I spend an hour or should I spend 30 seconds? So I usually obviously try to stick to the 30 seconds. The reason is I know so much about Slack, so I can spend about an hour, 2 hours just speaking about Slack. So let's just go with the 30 seconds for today. Slack, at its core, empowers everyone to transform how work gets done. It does that in three ways. First of all, Slack helps transform automations for business users. So think about the regular person who comes into work. Slack's job is to put automation in the hands of the regular user. Next is knowledge. Slack's job is to give you the knowledge you need to be better at your jobs. Lastly, Slack is all about connectivity, bringing people together. So Slack brings the right people to the right topic areas to solve business needs. So at the core of the platform, we understand technology, but technology usually has to have tangible business outcomes. And at the core of Slack, these are the three core elements of the platform. So as I indicated, first, We accelerate automation through AI, and we have product features like workflows that all drive at the core of automation for the everyday user. Next, in Slack, you can easily share and search knowledge readily, and we try to make sure and give you that power to feel that you always have knowledge at your fingertips. Lastly, Slack facilitates collaboration for both internal and external partners. So think about who you work with. So a lot of companies work with outside associates, consultants, vendors. Think about all the external parties that companies work with. We facilitate that collaboration as well as your internal parties as well. So this is, when you think about the framework of Slack, this is what it is. And I'll spend just a few minutes just sort of building it from the ground up, just so you see and have a clear vision of what Slack is. So at the core of it, Slack is an open, extensive platform that allows you to build in a way that works for you. What does that mean? We have over 2,600 applications that you can bring into Slack to reduce context switching and to help you as you get your job done. Think about you using Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Outlook Calendar. If you are in technology, you probably use Zendesk, ServiceNow. All these applications can be brought into Slack to allow you to context switch and dedicate your time to value add items as compared to what we currently do right now when we have to bounce around different applications during the day. Next, Slack is a Salesforce company. So Slack is the UI that connects all customer 360 platforms, which are Salesforce. When you think about Service Cloud, Sales Cloud, Tableau, Slack is that UI interface that allows you to connect all your Salesforce platforms directly into Slack. Again, helping reduce context switching, helping you be more productive at work. So on top of that layer, this is where the unique product features lay. So we have Workflow Builder, that's a no-code ability to automate repetitive tasks. We have lists, we have Canvas, we have search capabilities, and all these are just a ton of Slack unique products that allow you to drive automation, drive knowledge, and collaborate easy at work. Now, the additional umbrella is Slack AI, and that's what we'll be talking about today. So currently, a lot of companies, we are fortunate, choose to use Slack on a day-to-day to get work done. Think about every industry you can imagine: nonprofit, education, retail, financial services. All organizations in specific industries see the value in Slack in driving at those key automation, knowledge, and collaboration. So now let's get to introducing Slack AI. And before I do that, I just have a quick question. I know most people here have heard about Slack, but who uses Slack currently in your jobs, or you use Slack in your previous companies? Oh, great. Actually, it's more than I imagined. So great. So if you've not yet seen it, it was introduced at Dreamforce. This is coming up. This is really exciting. This is one of our most exciting features that people really, really are geared towards and are super excited about. So currently, knowledge grows in Slack as your team works together. So think about when you're working on the project and you have a project channel. You start from your initial projects, getting everyone together, and as you keep working through the years, think about all the knowledge that's building within those product channels. Think about people who are in sales, people who are in service. They all have account channels, and those account channels have a lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of content, a lot of conversations. Same applies to team channels. When you are a team and you have channels that you guys get to engage in, there is a lot of data that's housed in those channels. So the more you use Slack, the more you have a lot of content, a lot of conversations, and a lot of data on your platform. Generative AI, which is Slack AI, is coming in to unlock the full potential of your knowledge in Slack. So as of now, you guys might be used to using the search feature, which has an AI component to it. However, what you're missing and what Slack AI is going to bring is the additional rich context that allows you to weave multiple answers to actually now have a more defined answer that solves a question or gives you knowledge that you might be missing. The next thing and why we're excited about Slack AI, most AI platforms are going to be additional platforms that you need to learn how to use. If you're already using Slack, why do you need to hop onto a third-party application to use AI, as compared to using AI in a native way that you're already used to? So as of now, think about it. It's going to eliminate the change management process that you, as a user, has to go through. I feel the same way that anytime that my company says, we have a new thing that you're supposed to use, I'm like, oh, another new application? But think about it. If you are already in Slack, you don't have to adopt, you don't have to think about learning how to use this new product. Lastly, Slack is built on trust. My colleague yesterday, Mark, did spend a lot of time talking about how Salesforce views trust as a key component to AI. Right now, the biggest impediment to AI adoption is trust in AI. Everyone is wondering, what is AI going to be able to do that we cannot control? So what we've decided to do is we've decided to bring trust to be the key component before we do any building and any development, so everyone is assured and everybody believes and understands what AI is doing and does not feel AI might be doing something in the background that might impact them later down the road. So this winter, we will be piloting Slack AI. It's going to have three key components. The first is channel recaps. Second, thread summaries. And the last is search answers. I'm going to go through all these three items just so you have an idea what we are referring to. So when you think about channel recaps, when I get onboarded into a new company, and I work with accounts, so a lot of times I have to spend a lot of time getting knowledge as to what's happened previously, because I want it to be a seamless process so clients do not feel that something has changed, even though I might be a new person on the account team. So what I do usually is I go back a year to read all the conversations, everything that's happened within that account channel in over a year. Can you imagine how much time that takes just to get context? However, Slack AI eliminates that. With Slack AI, if you're new to a company and you're working on a specific project account, you can simply go in and request a summary on the defined timeline. So you can say, give me the key elements in the past 1 year that I need to be focused on. Slack AI would be able to give you that output. It's going to help you save time. It's going to help you be more productive and help you get onboarded. If you are on a new project and in a new company, it will allow you to be more effective in your day-to-day. So some use cases are, it will help you get up to speed on a new project. It will help you extract themes for feedback for channels. It will help you catch up on time away. Think about PTO. If you take a 2-week PTO, something that my wife is at a company that does not use Slack. So anytime that we go on vacation, she blocks 3 days just to go through emails. And I know everyone does that. Slack helps take that away. However, those unread messages are still living in channels. So you still have to go through all the missing conversations, data flow that you've missed in these channels. What Slack AI is going to give to you is, once you come and you can just request, what did I miss when I was away? And Slack AI would be able to tell you on your specific channels, what did you miss when you were away for those 2 weeks? Next is catch up on long threads in one click. So in my role, sometimes I'm brought into ongoing conversations. So it might be 20 different threads ongoing as to something that's being escalated. And before I can make a comment, I have to go read the entire thread because I want to make sure I'm not missing context before I respond. And sometimes I need to respond in less than 5 minutes, again, because it's an escalation. So what Slack AI is bringing is your ability just to quick summarize. Hey, what exactly is happening within this thread? It will give you that context again that allows you to respond and be effective and allows you to save time and be more productive in your day-to-day. The last is get clear, concise answers based on relevant knowledge. As we use the search feature, I love to search. I prefer to search first, and then I go ask questions later, just so I'm updated as to what's going on. But we all know with search, you have to use keyword prompts. And even with that, you have to spend time going to maybe 10 different search results to figure out what exactly am I trying to get a context to. What Slack AI is going to do is, for example, if you've heard your colleagues talk about Project Phoenix, you can spend and just go and ask, what is Project Phoenix in the search bar? And Slack AI would be able to tell you, Project Phoenix is this project that's working on by this team. These are the key people who are on this project. And it'll give you all that necessary details that allows you now to get that context that you need, because the AI knows how to weave multiple results together and generate information that you can now action upon. So now, let's get back to trust. Because everyone would ask, this seems great, but how do I know, for example, what I'm getting is correct? How do I know what I'm getting can be trusted? And those are really good questions to ask. I actually push people to consistently ask those questions about AI because AI is new to all of us. So at Slack and Salesforce, what we are doing is, the first thing is, we believe in 100% data privacy secured in Slack. What does that mean? It means no data leaves Slack. If you ever speak to any chief security officer, any CIO, any CTO, the first thing that they're worried about is their data. Is our data leaving the platform? In Slack AI, because all our language learning models are embedded in the platform, the data is not being extracted by API to another platform and then coming back into Slack giving you results. It's all embedded in the actual platform. Another thing is, everyone is worried about, does this mean another company is going to have access to my data? Good question. So at Slack, we believe in no data is leaving your instance. So if you're an organization, the data that is relevant to your organization is what stays in the generative AI units that you're referring to. So that's what we call no data containment. The second is trust in the system, transparency by design. So this is a good, because I was meeting an executive a couple months ago, and they did mention this, and I thought it was a good question. At that time, I didn't have an answer for them, because the question was, how am I sure someone who is smart enough would not be able to ask the AI questions that legal does not want them to have those answers to? Because that's what's happened initially with ChatGPT, if anybody knows about that. So However, we've built our AI capabilities to be more user-centric. So information and data that aligns to you or data that you can see because you are not supposed to see maybe some legal information that is located in a private channel, private conversation, all those data elements would not be available in that Slack AI. So it's very user-centric. So you get to see customized results that's based on the data that is readily available to you as a user. And that, again, promotes that trust in the system, because what might happen if everyone feels AI is so great that if I'm having a private conversation with a colleague of mine, means my manager can go and do a voice prompt to say, hey, what has John and Jack been saying about me? And then AI would be able to bring it out. Our goal is to make sure that doesn't happen. So you can have those privileged conversations still and not feel AI is going to take that information and provide it to someone else. The last thing is Salesforce has a strong standard of security, and we just want you to know that Slack AI is built on that standard. So as of now, AI is something like the Wild West because there's not been a lot of regulation around it. However, we are using the standard for our data infrastructure, our security measures to ensure that we are building Slack AI in the way that meets industry standard of what data privacy, data protection all entails. So I want to pivot for a minute just to kind of share how some companies are thinking about using Slack to drive automation and innovation at their organizations. This is a video, so let's, guess the video did not work. Great, but I can simply talk through it. Okay, cool. So the video was pertaining to OpenAI. Are you familiar with OpenAI is anyone? Okay, if you know ChatGPT, you know OpenAI. OpenAI is the company that builds ChatGPT. And most people, when I tell them this little nugget, they kind of get surprised. So OpenAI uses Slack. They actually use Slack to build ChatGPT. So as a team, the engineers, the data scientists all collaborated on Slack to build ChatGPT. And something which they did internally once they built ChatGPT is they actually created an app, which is ChatGPT as an app, which allowed them now to even use it internally and test their generative AI within their Slack instance to get the necessary information. So this is something that, and they still use Slack even currently. So as they're thinking about ChatGPT 4, and as they keep building actually a new company and a new commercial institution that currently they are developing, it's all built through Slack. They use Slack Connect to talk to all their third-party vendors, and all organizations that they work with is through Slack. So just something that I just wanted to highlight. The next that I want to highlight is IBM. IBM is one of our really big organizations that use Slack. They have over 250,000 people that use Slack daily. And some of the great customizations that has made IBM more productive, one story that I wanted to call out is ability for approvals. Anyone who works in a big organization knows how hard it is just to get the tiniest thing approved, because there are 5 layers of managers that have to approve something very little. Those structures are not going to go away. But how do we take time out of those delayed approvals that have happened? So what IBM did was IBM developed a custom bot that allows approvals to go directly through Slack. So managers can just click accept, and that accept allows the workflow to get to the next stage. So if there are 5 managers that have to approve a budget, simply it can be pushed through Slack that allows each manager on the workflow structure just to quickly hit accept, whether they are about to board a plane, whether they are meeting a client, or whether they are at home behind their desk. They can simply use Slack to accept as compared to log into their native platform to go in to accept those approvals. So as a result, it saved a lot of times, and it's helping make IBM a smaller company, even though they are a 250,000 person organization. The last is, I wanted to also share that Slack is not just for big companies. This is a really small company based in Australia, and they use Slack for incident management. They use Slack in case there is an incident. They bring in everyone at once into a channel just so they can collaborate and solve things quicker and solve things faster. They also use Slack Connect to engage with other partners that they work with within their ecosystem. So Slack, as I said from the beginning, cuts across multiple industries and cuts across multiple size of organizations. We have startups on Slack. We have organizations like schools on Slack. We have the bigger institutions on Slack as well. So thank you so much for your time. If I think there's 3 minutes, I'm available for questions, but does anyone have a question? Oh, yes.
So yesterday, Salesforce person talked about Einstein as their language model, I believe. Do you use the same one for Slack?
So I cannot specifically tell you whether it's the same, because I know there are different language models and companies. I don't even know whether we are privy to that information. But what I know is Slack AI and Einstein are going to work together because, again, it's the same company. So those teams, we have a Slack AI team and we have a Salesforce AI team as well. Even the Salesforce AI teams have different products that you work with. However, they are still part of the same infrastructure, and there's going to be an opportunity for all those AI components to come together at some point in time. But thanks for a good question. That's a good one. Any other questions? I think we have 2 minutes left. So she asked, when is the Slack AI going to be ready? It's actually ready because I use it internally, but it's being piloted right now. It's going through the QA.